Thank you. Today's takedown of that Malaysia Airlines flight further complicates an already full foreign policy plate for President Obama. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry has that part of the story from the White House.
President Obama went forward with his planned schedule of 2 fundraisers in New York tonight, calling the Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko aboard Air Force One on the way. Earlier, the president was pushing for more highway funding in Delaware, where he stopped in at a barbecue joint.
I hear the burger's pretty good.
And paused for 38 seconds to note the downed passenger jet.
It looks like it may be a terrible tragedy. Right now, we're working to determine whether there were American citizens on board. That is our first priority.
The president also had Vice President Biden call Poroshenko to offer U.S. assistance, including a team headed to the region to determine what happened.
And there are many questions that need to be answered, and we'll get those answers, and we will take the next steps accordingly.
The president heard about the crash from Russian President Vladimir Putin, who passed along air traffic control reports during a phone call to discuss U.S. sanctions. The White House said the president pressed Putin on, quote, extensive evidence that Russia is significantly increasing the provision of heavy weapons to separatists in Ukraine. Meanwhile, as Israel led an offensive into Gaza, Secretary of State John Kerry was on the phone late today, urging restraint with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, all playing out just 3 days after White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest told Fox some of the president's policies are making the world more tranquil.
How does the White House react to the notion that the president is a bystander to all these crises?
I think that there have been a number of situations in which you've seen this administration intervene in a meaningful way that has substantially furthered American interests and substantially improved the tranquility of the global community.
Republicans today warned Kerry is now likely to push the president to extend nuclear talks with Iran beyond Sunday's deadline.
With so many foreign policy disasters like the shoot down of this airplane on the watch of the airplane of this administration, he's going to be really backpedaling fast.
Late last year, in order to stop a bipartisan effort led by Democratic Senator Bob Menendez to issue new sanctions against Iran, the president publicly promised if the talks with Iran did not bear fruit by July 20th, he'd ready new sanctions. Today, State Department spokeswoman Jen Psaki suggested that may be changing, tweeting, quote, at John Kerry does not support additional nuclear-related sanctions while we negotiate, because it would not be productive to the negotiations.
Now, very interesting, on that call with the Ukrainian president, the White House says Mr. Obama stressed all evidence from the crash site has to stay inside Ukraine so that it's not tampered with. But as you heard Amy Kellogg report earlier, the separatists are already claiming that they've taken a black box or black boxes to Russia. Big problem potentially tonight, Bret.
Definitely. Ed Henry live on the North Lawn. Ed, thank you.